I've been asked to put up a little video of a workshop walkabout, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm coming into the workshop here, and we'll start on the right hand side with our lathe. This is a Czech lathe from DZ, and it's called TDB8 in case anybody wants to buy one. It's an 8mm standard lathe, and I bought this because it came with this. And that's what you want. It's got everything you will ever want for the lathe, including a cross slide here. And these bits and bobs, if you buy a cheap lathe off eBay that's used, you will have to spend a fortune on all the collets, and you just need them. You can't work without them. With the lathe, you need a microscope, and we've got a nice stereo microscope on top of the lathe to turn small parts. Here we have a little pillar drill. Comes in handy for all sorts of things. Then here is our Elmar RM90 watch cleaning machine, and at the moment we can see there is a movement in there being cleaned in the baskets. On top, also very important, we got a little sheet where we mark down how many watches we've cleaned in the solution and when we changed it. So this one was changed yesterday, and we've done 3 watches so far. Little grinder and polisher here, and an ultrasonic cleaner for watch cases. Toothbrush, very important. Onwards and upwards to all sorts of liquids, paints, paint remover. Then here's our packing station with all the different labels we need. Radio, very important. Telephone, one computer. Down here is the safe, that's where your watches go overnight. The liquid waterproof tester that tests up to 10 bar, and a dry tester. We always use a dry tester first, just in case crystals pop and whatnot, that we don't have submerged movements, which you really don't want to have. Back here is a quartz tester, seldom used because we don't do many quartz watches. One computer, 2 computers, well that's the third one actually. Auto winders here for testing. And then up here we have all sorts of tools. Let's start off here, that's a bezel remover. Then we've got here, let's open this up, a nice little charcoal tool for burnishing pivots, and a very nice star staking set, and a cheaper staking set for stuff where you might damage the stake. We'll use that. A Bergeron balance staff removal tool, a poising tool in here for balances, very nice. And the sides jeweling tool, everybody's got the same I think there. There isn't too much choice around. This is a micrometer for measuring mainsprings, screws, all sorts of stuff. Couple of case presses here, and this is a case back remover for snap cases. Demagnetizer, time grapher number 1. And down here, this is where we store spare parts. So if we have an old movement we've taken apart, we put the parts in here, and sometimes we even have complete movements. This is just little bits and bobs, and more bits and bobs in here. Now that's workstation number 1 here, that's my workstation. And you can see at the moment I'm stripping the paint off some Speedmaster hands. There's the case, and there's the dial screwdrivers, oilers, a brush to clean dials, paints, hand removers up here, pliers, tweezers, hand setting tool, a little vise, our lovely stereo microscope, very important tool, the Epilarm bottle for epilarm treating, and then we're on to Midcast workstation. Here it is. And it's halt, Staatsgate passieren verboten, don't you know? And same stuff, he basically has the same, again, a time grapher, screwdrivers, oilers, and the stuff that you've seen here. And he's got his own computer, and the watches he's working on at the moment, that's all his stuff. And back here, these are all the cases that people sent in with their watches that we then have to remember to send back. Sometimes we don't. Another case opening tool here, and a Rolex case opening tool over there. Here is a nice busy set of drawers with all sorts of, that's measuring, some glues, broaching, screws, gaskets, O-rings, crowns, all sorts of bits, hammers, luminous compound, shock springs, a little glass mixer for the luminous compound. Then these are case opening tools here, screw polishing tool, lapping film, and measuring. There's a little oscilloscope and a multimeter. This is a balance adjusting tool for Omegas to adjust the beat rate, more case press dies. These are all our oils. Yeah. And what we do is that we fill all the oils into syringes. That keeps oxygen out and it makes it really easy to put it in the oils. Some pliers. That's your famous crystal lift. These are removers for pushers. And that's a Rolex pendant tube remover. Little assortment of rollers, files, more pliers, gravers, saw blades, oilers, and soldering stuff, and a nice tap and die set. Let's open that up. Go. Tap and die set, very expensive but very useful. And down here, last but not least, our compressor, which we use to clean the inside of cases to just keep dust and fluff out before we case the movements. And that's it. Our view, last but not least, very nice. This doesn't get more Cotswoldy than this, does it? So that's a view out of our workshop. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed our little workshop tour.